Hey, have you ever wanted to buy land from a timber company? Maybe they have some property that joins where you live or joins some additional property that you already have. You really don't know how to go about doing it or haven't had good luck doing it. Let me tell you what I know that we have used in the past for ourselves and to help clients buy property from timber companies. You got to figure out who to talk to. I can't really help you with that because I don't know what part of the country you're watching this in or what timber companies you're dealing with, but it shouldn't be too difficult to figure out. Find where their regional or local or state office is, or if they're just a smaller timber company, just where their main headquarters is. Find a forester that works for them. There may be even be a land broker that represents their properties because maybe they have some on the market. So if you'll just look around a little bit, you can figure out who to talk to and where to get the ball rolling. I'm gonna give you 5 tips, and then I'm gonna give you a little secret right at the end that's worked for us numerous times, and the secret may be worth the whole thing. First of all, you gotta be clear. When you reach out to this timber company to express interest in buying what we in the business and what they often refer to as a bluebird deal, meaning a property that's not listed, it's not on the market, you're just kind of approaching them out of the blue, wanting to buy something they have, you've got to first of all be clear. You've got to make it real plain and understandable in a glance exactly what property you're talking about, how many acres it is, and where it's located. Get a legal description of the property you're interested in. Get a map that shows precisely where it is. Determine to the best of your ability how many acres it is that you're looking at buying so that you can have either a friend or yourself or your county or parish tax assessor put together a map for you so that when you send it to that timber company, it's got as good a legal description as you can find. It's got maybe the section, township, and range. It's got maybe the survey abstract number if you're in Texas or a different state like that. Enough information and the acreage so that whoever's getting that information from you can quickly identify where this property is so that they can pass it along to maybe the forester that handles that region or land manager that deals with that property in that part of the country for them. If they get your letter or a map or a note, whatever from you, and they can't figure out where you're to even go with your deal, your offer, they're going to throw it away. They're not going to dig into it. They're not going to waste any time. You've got to be clear, identifying the property that you want to buy. Number 2, be prepared. Be sure you've already spoken to your lender about what you're trying to do, or if you're a cash buyer, you already got that money set aside. Be prepared to act in case this does progress, it does move forward, and you are able to make a deal. You don't want to get held up. You don't want the thing to stop the deal to be you didn't have your money ready to go, so be prepared. Number 3, be patient. I can assure you from having dealt with this many times that this is the last thing a regional director, a senior VP of real estate, whatever the title is, they don't want to deal with it. They got much bigger fish to fry than trying to figure out time to sell you 20 acres that joins your property. So you've got to be patient. I have seen it take 6 or 8 months for this process to work through from an initial contact to a closing. I've heard from other friends of their experience where it's taken longer. Believe me, this is low priority for the folks that are dealing with this. They are not going to jump through hoops to try to sell you 10, 20, 40 acres. So you've got to be kind, be very patient, and keep prodding things along as gently as you can, but just understand, if it happens, it's going to take a while, so be sure you're set for the long ride. Hey, number 4, be realistic. If you end up getting a deal with a timber company to buy a parcel of land from them, it's going to cost you. You're not going to get it for what you may get stuff on the market, other tracts around your area. That timber company is going to be pretty steep with their pricing. And the reason is, sure, it's the real estate, it's the actual land, but it's also timber production ground for these people. That's why they own it. They're going to forecast and model out their timber production and include some of that data in the price of the land to make you a ballpark price. Timber producing ground for these companies, and if they're going to let it go, they're going to get a pretty steep price. So be realistic, understand it's going to cost you a little more than a lot of other things on the market. Also be realistic to the fact that you're probably not going to get the mineral rights. They're going to keep those in most situations. I've never seen an exception to that. It may happen, but be realistic and understand it's probably not. Also understand that you're going to pay for a survey. They're going to want to carve this property out so that the lines can be painted, especially if they still own some adjoining stuff to it. So there's going to be some extra costs in that. You're wanting to buy this property. They didn't want to sell it. You're offering, you want to buy it. So they're going to make it easy on themselves, and it's going to be tougher on you. So be realistic and understand that if you want it, you're going to really have to reach for it. Hey, number 5, be flexible. If you are able to negotiate a deal with them, they are willing to sell it, you understand you're going to buy a survey, you understand they're keeping the mineral rights, they're going to provide the deed. They're going to have it set up a certain way. They're going to close it their way. They're going to have stipulations in it. You might not get a warranty deed. You may get a special warranty deed or a less than ideal deed, because they're going to give you the deed that best represents their interest. It's going to have language in it that best represents their interest. There may be a timber road going across the tract that they're going to reserve access on to be able to get to the timber on the other side. You're just going to have to be flexible. You're not going to ramrod these timber companies and play hardball with them and be hard-nosed and get everything you want in a deal like you might with some other private individual landowner out there. Be flexible. If you want to buy this property, you're going to have to give some things that you wouldn't normally give. And if you don't have that mindset to understand that this is not going to be a perfect deal for you in every sense of the word, you're probably not going to make the deal. Hey, let me give you the pro tip. This is a secret that we've used on 3 deals. Now, these were large deals, more than 1,000 acres each. So pretty large deals that we bought, bluebird deals from timber companies. We had all of our ducks in a row, just like I've talked about some of these points I've given you here. But the thing that we did that we learned after a deal or two in the beginning was this. We offered to close in a certain window of time at the end of their 4th quarter, their end of their 4th fiscal quarter. Why? Because it was big influx of cash. They were selling an asset. They're going to have cash. And sometimes you catch these timber companies, especially if there's some of these larger companies that have shareholders, they're publicly traded maybe, to be able to put cash on their books maybe at the end of a tough quarter. Could be a great incentive for them to make a deal. Now, that's not going to work every time. They're not all in cash poor positions, but sometimes you catch them at a time that they'd rather get an asset off the books and convert that to cash. And if you can guarantee you can make that happen by the end of a fiscal quarter, especially the end of the 4th quarter of a year before reporting comes out, I've seen it work on 3 different occasions on large deals where things were able to swing our direction because we could make that happen. And we knew to push for that and knew to let them know this was what we were going to give them to help make a deal. So hope these things are helpful. Thanks for watching our videos. There's some more right there. Check them out.